Unfortunately, there have been a number of instances where criminals have displayed repulsive and revolting behavior while in the courtroom. It's not every day that court sessions go smoothly and without scenes. Sometimes the accused causes commotion in the courtroom, and the threat of being charged with contempt of court does not tame them. From spitting and throwing bodily fluids to making inappropriate gestures and comments, these are the moments that have left us feeling disgusted and disturbed. We start with Alan Miller McCarty's trial in a Daytona Beach, Florida court. McCarty's woes started when he made an anonymous expletive-laden call to the county sheriff's office, saying that he had a gun and was planning on shooting Circuit Judge Stacia Warren.
What a bunch of guys, you stupid piece of You threatened my life, you
In the
you
back room.
Suck my No, I'm not standing.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting. I'm just not
Stand
standing.
up.
I'm not standing. I don't have to stand.
McCarty started the call by claiming that he wanted to report a crime that was about to happen. He then asked the judge's whereabouts, saying he was waiting for the judge outside the building with a gun. McCarty made a total of 4 threatening and abusive calls. The police immediately started investigations and identified and tracked McCarty in no time. He was then arrested and charged with making death threats against a public servant. McCarthy had a criminal history involving 3 felonies and a misdemeanor in Florida. He made the threatening call because of an earlier case where Judge Warren granted custody of their children to his ex-wife and gave no contact order to him due to his history of abuse and domestic violence. McCarty was charged with 2 counts of corruption by threat against a public official and 2 counts of threat or extortion. Throughout the trial, McCarty was aggressive, screaming and cursing the judge, the jury, and the whole judicial system.
This is being done unconstitutionally. Y'all took my kids unrightfully. You want to allow my witnesses here. You want to allow my paperwork. Y'all took all my court paperwork. And when they all come in here, I'm going to say the same thing. So let's bring them in. Quit wasting my time and bring them in so I can tell them the same thing.
He screamed that he wasn't allowed to provide evidence, shouted that his attorney was being docile, and yelled that his children were being unfairly taken away from him. At one time, McCarty invited Circuit Judge Matt Foxman to perform oral sex on him, to which the judge politely declined, stating, quote, "I prefer not to, sir." McCarty then replied that the judge has the mouth for it. The expletives and distractions got so much that the judge threatened to tape McCarty's mouth. However, he didn't carry on with the threat. Instead, he ordered McCarty to be removed from the courtroom. McCarty was then placed in a room with one-way glass, but this did not prevent him from screaming and accusing the judge of acting unconstitutionally and denying him his rights. He even threatened to sue the judge. Finally, McCarty was sentenced to 20 years in Florida State Prison with an extra 10 days sentence for his profane outbursts, which constituted contempt of court. Thumbs up to the judge and jury members who remained calm and professional in the face of abuse and expletives from McCarty.
Okay. Thanks.
Adam Satterley made headlines in 2016 when he used a racial slur against a black judge presiding over his case. 36-year-old Adam was in Jefferson Circuit Court in Louisville on a bond hearing related to drug charges. Judge Olu Stevens revoked Adam's bond on several methamphetamine charges, meaning that Adam would return to jail. As Adam left the courtroom, he shouted a racial slur at the judge.
I get it, thanks.
Judge Olu wasn't very pleased with that and called Adam back into the courtroom.
Sally, before you go, I mean, Sheriff, can you indulge me one second?
Yes, sir, of course.
Can you knock on the door and tell the sheriff to bring Mr. Was that guy? Satterley? Bring him back. You just tell the sheriff to bring him back. Oh, Brad. You still have Satterley?
I do.
You bring him back.
Back out?
I apologize. Just give me 1 minute. It won't even take that. Is there something that you wish to say to me?
No, it was my brother.
Oh, was that to your brother?
Yes,
Because I
sir.
heard you say a racial epithet.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, you didn't mean it like
No.
that? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to hold you in contempt of court for having said that.
Judge Olu sentenced him to 60 days in jail for contempt of court. However, a day later, the judge gave Adam a chance to reduce his sentence to 1 day if he apologized. Adam gratefully took the opportunity and apologized, saying that the racial slur was intended for his brother. The judge stated that he couldn't see how the racial slur could be meant for his brother and that it was disrespectful to use such language in court, but he accepted the apology. He then went on to reduce the sentence from 60 days to just 1 day. Next is Melissa Hardwick, who was in the Russell and Wayne Counties Family Court in Kentucky for a hearing on a domestic violence order that her ex-husband filed. The husband has petitioned the court to enter an order restraining the ex-wife from any contact with him. During his testimony, the husband explained how the wife had a couple of mental inquest warrants and had been arrested a couple of times.
On it from any contact with you.
Yes, sure.
I've taken your statements in your petition as part of your testimony, but I need you to tell me briefly, in your own words, what happened to cause you to ask for a domestic violence order.
Yes, Your Honor. Things have been escalating, I guess, since the first of the year, and Melissa's had a couple MIWs and a couple arrests, and she got out of jail in, I guess, April, and she started. We hadn't really had anything personal up until that point. She got out of jail in April.
While he was still testifying, Melissa interrupted him and told the court that her personal life and behavior were no one's business.
Until that point, she got out of jail in April, and she
My
started.
personal life is
No, no.
none of your business, John. It has nothing to do with
Miss
you or
Hardwick?
boys. No.
You will be held in contempt of this court if you
I
become
don't
disruptive.
care. I haven't done anything to this court.
Judge Jennifer Edwards wasn't pleased by her interruption. She warned that further distractions would lead her to be charged with contempt of court. Melissa replied that she didn't care and continued with her tirade.
Court. I haven't done anything to
Okay.
him.
She will be
It
arrested
doesn't
for
make
contempt
any-
of
It doesn't
court.
make any difference.
You will serve 10 days for contempt of court. You go.
The judge then ordered her arrest and sentenced her to 10 days for contempt of court. Still, just as the sentence was leaving the judge's mouth, Melissa charged at the judge, throwing herself over the desk with fists out. However, she was caught in time by the court security officers. If the judge was entertaining any thoughts of her being nonviolent, she showed otherwise. Melissa was eventually sentenced to 120 days in jail for contempt of court and was charged with third-degree terroristic threatening, intimidating a participant in the legal process, and resisting arrest. Her ex-husband's petition for a restraining order was also granted.
You guys can suck my. You guys can suck my. Okay, I'm being dead ass real.
$125,000.
You do not challenge, repeatedly curse, and tell a judge to commit sexual acts on themselves in a pretrial release hearing, unless you are Christopher Colon, a South Florida man who is being held in jail on 2 counts of violating restraining order related to his ex-girlfriend and on charges of aggravated battery against his girlfriend. Christopher appeared before Judge John J. Hurley for the bond hearing via video.
I think I remember you from before coming into this courtroom.
Yes, sir. I'm out on.
I remember.
However, the judge recognized him from an earlier bond hearing on an aggravated battery case where he went free when his bond was posted. So the judge wasn't exactly enthusiastic about granting him another bond.
Won't be necessary today because you're
Well,
not
I'll
going
see you guys.
anywhere.
Well, I'll see you guys in with a lawyer and a lawsuit too.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Bring him back, please.
And you can go too.
Unfazed, Judge Hurley set Christopher's bond at $250,000. He then revoked the bond when Christopher stated that the amount was not a problem. He then sentenced him to 364 days in jail for contempt of court. Christopher must have changed his mind because when the court reconvened a week later, Christopher apologized for his outburst and abusive language. Judge Hurley accepted his apology and cut down the jail term to time served, but did not approve any bond for the aggravated battery case. Christopher served 14 months before he was released.
Did you just give me 40 years? Sir? Yes. You just gave me 40 years. Well, guess what? Sir, what's this?
Born in Springfield, Ohio, Ricky Hand is a well-known career criminal. Ricky has served sentences for a string of armed robberies totaling more than 29. However, he was in court for attempting to rob a drive-through store. The store owner saw Ricky coming through the back door from the security camera
Yeah, this is John's drive-through, West Main Street. A guy just tried to rob me and I shot him. He ran out the back door.
And shot Ricky 3 times before calling 911. Following investigations and a tip from the local hospital, Ricky was identified and apprehended. Investigations revealed that he was responsible for several robberies around the locality. He was consequently charged to court on nearly 40 charges of breaking and entering, aggravated robbery, safecracking, abduction, and attempted safecracking. Hoping to get a lesser sentence, Ricky pleaded guilty to 7 charges, which could have landed him a maximum jail time of 52 years, and apologized for the robberies, claiming that he needed help to deal with drug addiction, the source of his problem. Ricky was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and his apologetic attitude disappeared. He asked the judge if he just gave him 40 years, and when the judge confirmed that, Ricky reached inside his arm sling where he had concealed 4 bottles of his feces and urine. Ricky threw the bottle at his attorney and 4 deputies, but was quickly subdued before throwing the bottle of feces at the judge and other people in court. Ricky was already on parole for a criminal offense before the drive-through sentencing, which he worsened with his turd-throwing antics. His crappy behavior earned him an additional 5 counts of harassment with a bodily substance, obstructing justice, and retaliation. Which of these courtroom moments did you find the most disturbing? The courtroom is a place where disputes and crimes can be resolved in a fair and just manner, and where individuals can receive the legal protection and representation they are entitled to. Imagine being in a courtroom and witnessing the moment when a convict is told they will spend the rest of their life behind bars. Click this video to watch some of the craziest convicts reacting to their sentence of the rest of their life being spent in solitude and